What is going on, everyone? What is good? It is the Crooked Commish with the Chicago Clubhouse Network. Here with the Chicago Bears post-game show. It's a rare edition. We usually don't have too many of these, but we have a few of the members of the clubhouse that is eager to kind of get their thoughts out there, me being one of them here, talking about this brutal loss that happened this afternoon. So definitely not the ending that I don't think any of us Bear fans were hoping for at all. Even throughout the game, like I said, it was a very tough watch. The Bears offense, like I said, we really got a reality check to us. We really did as far as our offense. We've been feeling pretty goddamn good about ourselves here the last few games on a good 3-game winning streak. And then I know a lot of us were kind of talking about, we need to pump the brakes a little bit. Look at who we beat. And yeah, that's true. But at the same time, like I said, we can only play the teams that were put in front of us. So, and the way that we were handling those teams, kind of gave us a good reason to feel good about ourselves. And going into this game, we definitely were saying this is going to be a good test, a good battle test to see how good our offense really is. And we found out. So before I get too much more into it, let me go ahead and bring in my co-host, or one of my members here of the clubhouse, the guy who always has something to say, and he has something to say because he's always amped the fuck up. So let's go ahead and bring him in. Amp.
Commish.
How are you feeling,
Amp? What was that? Man.
I wish I knew. I wish I knew.
I'm almost at a loss for words, but we know never that for me. Check this out. That right there, what we just witnessed. Like I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it, Commish, man. I'm giving the business real quick. I'm giving the business to my son, right? Because he's a Ravens fan. Ravens lost today. I'm like, okay. I'm happy as a lark. Right? Yeah. And so he's sitting up here.
They had their own issues.
The last 2 minutes of this Bears game, and he's clapping. Like he's like really clapping, like there's no way the Bears are gonna pull this out. Right? So we score. Mm-hmm. He's you're gonna lose. It was 12 seconds. And my 18-year-old son is telling me, you guys are gonna lose. I'm like, get out of my face, man. Get out of my face.
Stop with the bullshit. Like you just bitter. That's bitter tears.
That part. Why you hating? Why you hating, son? I mean, you guys lost to the Browns. Why you hating? I'm telling them that. But
right, you're telling them this.
To the no, yeah, to the no.
That part. Check this out. I have one question. Maybe you can help me out with this, Commissioner. Why did we only run Roschon Johnson one time? Why did he only get one touch?
I wish I knew.
Somebody in the comments, can somebody help me out with that? Tell me why our thumper only got one touch.
I think it was the moments that he didn't get the touches that really pissed me off. Like, I was watching the game with Coach Chef. Coach Chef, usually now that he's in town, we typically like to get together and watch the Bears game and talk it out and whatnot. That fumble, that Kramer at the goal line, 3rd down, I was saying give it to Rojo. Obviously, they give it to Kramer. We see the results of that. He doesn't even. It's not even clean handoff. He fumbles it right at the goal line, goes right to. At that moment, I'm screaming like, "What the fuck? Like, how are you not giving it to RJ at that moment? Just give it to RJ. Why are you being cute with it?" And Coach Chef is like, "No, like it's only we're only saying it's cute because he didn't successfully make the play. The results were it was a turnover." And I was like, and I understand what he's trying to say. I get what he is saying. I get that. My point is we haven't established that play enough to go ahead and switch up something different there. If we were week 14, week 13, and we established that Roshan is getting the ball that many times at the goal line and whatnot, then I could kind of see that moment. And I can even see, I think that was a bad moment to call that play. If we were up by 5 or a funky number to kind of, to even if we don't get it, we're still up by 3 or 4 or 5, something like that, to where it doesn't kill us. We needed that touchdown to get the fucking lead, to get ahead of the game. It wasn't to kind of pat the stats. It wasn't to pat the lead or whatever. We needed a touchdown. Don't be cute with it. Just give it to fucking Roshan with Kramer being the fullback, the mini fridge, and get the goddamn touchdown. Instead, it's a fucking fumble. Luckily they called it dead at the 2, because if that was a fumble for a touchdown back the other way, that was a backbreaker for us. There ain't no fucking way, like there ain't no chance of us coming back at that point.
Yeah. My point is this, Commiss. Anytime, let's not be confused. Anytime that Kramer got that ball was a bad time. It was a bad time. Kramer has only been the fullback for 3 weeks. Anytime Kramer touched that ball was a bad time. You know what I'm saying? Especially when we have Rojo back there. Check it out. Stop trying to run Swift down our throat. Swift is not an in-between tackle runner. He's not the downhill runner. He's not. Check it out. So you finally got him 100 yards today. You got him 100 yards today. Check it out. But you got Rojo on the sideline. And then when you get down there, after you didn't make this hiccup with Kramer, now you want to give the ball to Rojo. 1 touch, 1 TD. 1 yard, 1 TD. Man, coaching. And lack thereof, man, I'm sick of it. Come on, check this out, man. Check this out. 1 and 2 in the last 3 years. I posted that in our group chat, right? I'm talking about after a bye. We're 1 and 2 in the last 3 years. And I believe Easy said something. No, I'm sorry, it was Crazy. Crazy says, well, we're 7 and 4 over the last 11 years. Well, check this out. Crazy. Puss hasn't been coaching 11 years. I'm talking about the clown that we had back there. I'm talking about the clown we had back there in Puss.
Mm-hmm.
Check this out. What is he not doing, man? What part doesn't he get? I mean, when we come off a bye, I don't care who we're playing. It could have been KC. That was not pretty. That game was not pretty at all. That game, he was out-coached. Again. Check this out. We as a team, again, 7 games this season, losing in the third quarter. 7 games. This is not good. This is not something you just say, oh, well, you know what? We won. Yeah, we won. Yeah, we were 4 and 2 coming into that. But check this out. We have to score. We have to come out scoring. You know what I'm saying? And then put it on. You can't, let me say this and I'll shut it down. You can't get any better with the defense. We still haven't allowed 21 points. So defense is doing their thing.
They held them to field goals the whole goddamn game until that bullshit touchdown at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like the defense did literally like bend but don't break, held them to held them on check that last second. And we were watching it. Coach Jeff was like, God, that's too much fucking time. Even though it's a Hail Mary, still too much time for the QB to kind of fucking get set up and whatnot and throw, get a clean
no, Commiss. What happens is, think that drill should be practiced at least twice a week, once at minimum. What happens is you must contain that quarterback. You must keep that quarterback contained, right? So the pressure comes up front to him where he has to step into the pressure and throw. You cannot let him come out of the pocket. Once he gets out of the pocket, especially on a Hail Mary, that's
But
what you see is what you see. We lost containment. We lost containment. And then our safeties and our corners, it's just, man,
yeah, I mean,
it's coaching. It's coaching, man. It's coaching.
it is.
Say
I mean, and I agree with Keith there that it shouldn't have came down to that last play. Roshan should have gotten the ball. Yeah, the Kramer, like I said, it was just really the bad timing with that. Like I said, I get that later on in the season once you've established that Roshan gets the ball in there multiple weeks, and then you can try and be fancy with it and switch it up. Like I said, being in that spot where we need a fucking touchdown, it's not like we have the lead and we're trying to add points to the lead. That was just the timing's everything, and that timing to do that call. Even if it worked out, and they would have scored, it still would have been
it was a dumb. It was a dumb call. It was a dumb call. Yeah, yeah. It was a dumb call.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
That was not the right.
So
right
again, like what are you doing, man? I'm talking about as a coaching staff. What are we doing? What are we trying to do here? I mean, you again. Let's go back to that Kramer debacle, man. When you have Roshan Johnson on the bench. You know, why are you stepping Swift down our throat? You know what I'm saying? And then when it's time to use the downhill runner, you got him sitting on the bench. And then you wanna do that play to Kramer, man. Bottom line is this. I'm sick of them. I'm sick of them. And then by them I mean Puss and company. I'm sick of them, man. You don't get fancy with it. Check it out. We have to clean it up. Well, they have to clean it up because the Bears need to come out and score in the first quarter, right? And not depend on this defense that we have.
They do.
You know what I'm saying?
They start off real slow. And JB, man. Like to what you're saying, there 3 TDs were taken from them. No, like there was penalties on those. Like they weren't bullshit penalties that were like not that kept those touchdowns away. I understand those. Washington got those touchdowns, but it was because of the penalties. It was legit penalties where the guy was upfield or whatnot. The penalties that were called against Washington on those to negate those touchdowns, they weren't handed to us. They legit penalties on Washington. So I don't necessarily agree with what JB is necessarily saying there.
So JB, this is to JB. What happened to the containment of Daniels on that last play? What happened on that play right there? We know we lost containment, but why? Why did we lose containment? That's to you, JB.
Yeah, and to Keith, you're right though, Keith. Like we're not necessarily correct. Like the Bears had a worst offensive game plan, and we're complaining about that. It's like it's because of that fucking game plan. The game plan the whole time could not get in any kind of rhythm. 5 minutes total throughout the whole game was the only time, like I said, like to where the offense looked good in total throughout the whole game. And that was most of it came in the last few minutes of that quarter, unfortunately. So like the offense was struggling the whole goddamn game. They could not get in rhythm. Caleb was off.
And when you think about it in hindsight, which is 2020, like that, the Bears coaches have been out-coached in 7 games. They've been out-coached in 7 games. You know what I'm saying? And then it came down to those last few plays in the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not make it make sense, man. Make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? Because I watched the presser afterwards, and Puss he couldn't answer the question why they called that play for Kramer. You know what I'm saying? We practiced that 1,000 times. How can you practice it 1,000 times when you just made him a fullback like 3 weeks ago? We practiced it 1,000 times in practice, and it's no, not at that point. At that point in the game, a real game, not practice. Check this out. That's why you have Roshan. Kramer can be the fullback. Kramer be the fullback on that play. You don't toss him the ball. I'm talking about again, out-coached. I'm sick of them. I'm sick of the excuses. You know what I'm saying? Number 18, he was so nonchalant about it. I think he was more nervous than anything. Maybe that's just me. I think he was nervous because he was at home and he just didn't look like himself. He just didn't look like himself. I know number 18 is better than what we saw tonight. You know what I'm saying? I know he's better than that. I think he was more nervous because he was at home in front of his fans and his family. You know what I'm saying? And his friends, and it was just too much for the kid, man. It was just too much for him. And then that play calling surely didn't help. And check this out. Let me speaking of coaches, the non-challenge on that drop ball, on that commander's drop pass. We have three timeouts. And if I seen it, you seen it, all Bears fans have seen it, everybody in that stadium seen it, them rushing to the line. Where was Puss? And then when they showed it after the play, you go like, yeah, we knew that.
That's always been that's always been the thing that I've said about him. And unfortunately, is he hasn't grown as a coach to where he doesn't know when the right time to pull the red flag and when not to. Like in the 3 years or 4 years now that he's been a coach, he still is off in that. Even and I know a lot of it comes from the guys upstairs. They have the first initial review of it, and a lot of it is Chicago team saying, "Hey, yeah, throw the flag. No, don't throw the flag," or whatnot.
Stevenson was telling them. Stevenson was telling them that he didn't catch it. Stevenson was waving his hand. Puss wasn't paying attention. Again, man. You got to listen to your players.
He's been wrong so many times in the past that he's gun shy now. When he's thrown in the wrong times, now he's second guessing himself in the right time.
You have to connect with your players. You have to listen to your players. They're out there. You're on the sideline.
Wasn't it?
You know what I'm saying?
Where was it? Valus or one of the receivers was saying, "Yo, throw the flag because I catch that shit.
Right.
And they threw the flag, and it was clearly obvious he did not catch that shit when he listened to the player. So it's you got to pick the right moments to do that. You got to listen more to the guys upstairs and whatnot to when to throw the red flag and when not to. But it's like I said, it's one of those bad moments. He obviously guessed wrong, and the times to where there's another moment where he should have thrown the flag and he didn't, compared to he didn't need to throw the flag and he did. It's just like when it comes to head coaching, he's completely guessing wrong on those plays.
I'm trying to figure out like how many times a week do they practice the Hail Mary, defending the Hail Mary? Because that right there, what I watched, what we all watched, that was remedial, man. Again, first thing, got to keep the quarterback contained. You know what I'm saying? So that you don't have to worry about rushing 6 or 7. That four that they rushed, perfect. Actually, probably was too many, but that 4 was perfect. Should have kept him contained and made him step up. But once he broke containment, oh man, I'm doing this. I'm covering my eyes because I know what's about to happen. I know it's about to happen. You know what I'm saying?
We've seen this episode before.
Absolutely. I'm saying like, no. You know what I'm saying? And then they showed the end zone, and I'm looking at no defenders are actually in the end zone. No Bear defenders are in the end zone. I'm thinking like, this is gonna be real bad.
They all went for the ball at the point of attack. They all went for the ball at the point of attack, and nobody was looking for the deflection. Which everyone's they're all saying, "Hey, go up, tip." Someone's got to be in the background to look for the deflection and whatnot. So, someone. You have one commander in the end zone. Of course, at this tip, who else is going to catch it? That's coaching. Jalen sure did run the ball a hell of a lot more than I thought he would with ribs being bruised. I mean, And like as much as he ran the ball, we never really even got that good of a shot on him, which was, unfortunate.
He had to run the ball. He had to run it because
I
his
get it,
ribs
but
was
the
killing him,
scrambling
and you could
points, he never
see that.
got hit.
You could see that. You could see that with his passes. His passes were low, and then most of them were low, and bouncing in. He was hurt. The kid was hurt, so he had to run it. He
Well,
had
yeah,
to
they
run it,
showed him on the sidelines with the.
yeah. Well,
No, they were
and
showing him on the
hey, you know
sidelines
what?
warming up his ribs and keeping his ribs hot.
Yeah. Bottom line, Commissioner. I'm sick. I'm sick and tired of them, man. I'm sick and tired of them. I'm sick and tired of these coaches. I'm tired of them, man. I'm tired of them. And like we got an entire week. We got an entire week. What good is it having a defense that rated defense? What they scored 19 points, 18 points. We got to be top 10. We got to be top 10, and offensive coordinators that can't even tie their shoes, can't even tie their own shoes. You know what I'm saying? A head coach, and I heard last week that Eberflus, because I had doubts, Eberflus does step over to the offensive side, and he does give a lot of input on what plays are called. So it's not just Waldron over there by itself. You know what I'm saying? So Eberflus does have an input. I thought like, okay, Eberflus is just on the defensive side. He's the head coach, but he's the defensive coordinator also. No.
Yeah, and
no.
I mean, 18-15 was the final score. So I mean, the defense does its job where it holds the opposing team to under 20 points again, even yard wise. Jalen didn't get, it's not like he threw for over 300 yards or whatnot. And so, but just with as much as him scrambling and kind of not necessarily even going towards the sidelines to kind of save himself, he was running up the middle or kind of running the ball up the middle of the field and still juking, TJ Edwards a few times and just wiggling enough to where nobody on our defensive side was able to get a good, clean shot on him with those bruised up ribs, unfortunately. And it's like, that's nothing that I'm looking for him to be out for the season or whatnot, but at least a good football hit on his ass to where he hesitates and maybe he doesn't want to run as much. But
they got a couple on him. They got a couple, and he was Winston getting up. They didn't get enough. They got a couple, and that injury right there that he has, that's gonna go through the rest of the season with him. You know what I mean? JB says what?
He said he ended up having 300 yards passing. I'm sure a lot of it, big chunk came from that Hail Mary. That was a 50-yard bomb that he threw. So, I mean.
Yeah.
I mean. Yeah. I mean, the stats are the stats, I guess.
Mm.
But it's not like if all goes well and they can stop that last fucking Hail Mary pass and it's an incomplete, then he doesn't have 300 yards and he doesn't have a touchdown pass. So it's
if
300 yards total before the Hail Mary. Okay, rushing and passing, but I was just more thinking passing.
Oh, okay.
Passing,
okay. That was the total.
Rushing,
they had 300 yards total.
Rushing and the throwing. Okay,
that's not bad. That's not bad for the Bears defense. Bears defense, that's not bad.
Still, Caleb's numbers were nowhere near as close. I think we're going into.
Oh my goodness! Oh my!
Like 16, 38 yards passing.
His mind was yeah. When I hit the group chat, what was it?
Okay, GB, give me a second. I'll send you a link.
Yeah. It was 4 or 7 for 40-something yards, or some crazy number. It's some crazy. I'm talking about some number 18 for number 18, and that was in like.
I'm gonna step back. Okay, give me a second, Amp. I'm gonna leave you on by yourself for a minute. I'm gonna step out to take care of JB real quick and send him a link. So go ahead and give us your amped up thoughts or whatever. It's gonna be on you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, check this out, man. I've already said it. I've already said it. I'm sick and tired of this coaching staff, man. I'm sick and tired of the Bears. 7 games now. 7 games. We've trailed, and our defense have kept us in 7 games. I'm loving that part. I'm loving the defense. I'm loving the defense. You know what I'm saying? They're holding it. But those coaches, and the offensive side of the ball, you know what I mean? I know the kid is a rookie. I get it. I get it. But man, we're like literally being out coached. And my brother had said something at the halftime, like, well, you know what? The Bears have been making adjustments at halftime, and we have been pulling them out. I said, I don't know about adjustments, bro. I don't know about adjustments. I know about that defense. I know that defense has been stepping up. You know what I'm saying? And holding, and which gave our offense an opportunity to do what they've been doing, man. But other than that, no, I'm not giving credit where credit is not due. You know what I'm saying? To those coaches, no, absolutely not. They have to go. They have to go. And here's the kicker, man. We got how many more games? We had 7. We got 10 more games. We got 10 more of these.
Yeah, this is week
7.
8, I believe. We're
Week
we're
8,
at the
yeah, because
halfway
of the
point.
bye.
We're at the halfway point. And to what
Yeah,
Lonzo
we're
was
at the
saying, that
halfway point.
the defense will eventually start to get pissed if the offense can't come together. If the offense can't come together, the defense may eventually get pissed. But I do think we've seen enough from the offense, at least I'm hoping, to where they should be able to they should be able to fucking rebound from it. If it's to the point to where we need the like, as JB would say, the sisters of the poor, we need to face those
Huh.
type of teams every single week to look
Hey,
good.
hey,
That ain't gonna work
I
out
was
for
just
us.
about to say that, Commish. Because what's coming behind Arizona? What's coming behind Arizona? Oh, baby. Oh,
I mean,
oh
yeah, it's about
baby.
to get tough.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
let's
yeah.
go ahead and bring in JB Stats. He's the guy that knows all the stats from the 90s, 2000s, from what T. Nick says. He's got some thoughts on the game, and let's go ahead and get him in and let us know what he feels about it.
JB.
Trying to.
We got a little playback.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we got my playback.
You saying playback?
Yeah, we can hear my voice.
Okay, so what do? I don't know what to do.
Right there.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll get JB
He
back
had it.
on and get that figured out. No, well, he had his
He had it.
camera turned the right way, but he had me coming in the background completely. Every time I talked, we could hear him completely in the background. So we'll get him back on here for sure.
Okay.
So, but yeah, unfortunately, the Cardinals, they stole the win again. They had a last-second field goal to put them ahead last minute there. So they're a scrappy team. There's one of those teams where a pre-schedule, I had them pegged down as a loss. So I'm hoping I'm going to be pre-gaming that show. So I'm hoping they come back, they do win that game, but they ain't going to be a pushover team. Like I said, they're a team that's definitely fighting for the division, still fighting for, at the very least, a playoff spot. So let's go ahead and try to get JB in here, and hopefully we get some better results.
Is that a little better?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes, we're good.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because I ain't the techno man. So
Perfect. And there we go. We got you full screen. We got you the big screen, JB. So we even got your son in the background. So
Yep.
I hope he's not camera shy.
No, he's not.
Good.
What's up?
So
he's not for sure. But
so JB, you've had a chance to hear us give us our thoughts here on what we just saw, and you've been in the chat here a little bit, chiming in here and there. Let's tell us, the people here, overall what you saw here, what your thoughts of the game was.
So realistically, man, my thing is this. As Bears fans, we tend to find or try to find the good in everything that they do, and even the good in what they don't do. And today was one of those examples. slightly similar to the Texans game, where there wasn't a lot of good that they actually did. The one thing I could say is, yeah, in the Texans game, they had a little bit more pressure. They played a little bit more stout defensively. This game, and I will stick to this, knowing football and watching it as long as I can, Washington totally dominated the Bears. Washington couldn't stop the run.
Oh, yeah.
Washington couldn't stop a hurt quarterback. Even with his passes, if you look, he had a lot of wide open drops, not passes defense, not Tyreek Stevenson or Jalen Johnson knocking the ball away, just flat out drops. That has nothing to do with the defense being good. That has everything to do with Washington not, coming up and making the play. Now, the thing I will say, of which I told you all before, 3 touchdowns, regardless of how you want to script it, 3 touchdowns were had by Washington and were taken away. Be it 1 yard and one of those men downfield on the Zacchaeus field touchdown, the man literally had 1 foot past the 1 yard line on the whole opposite side of the field. Had nothing to do with the touchdown. I don't give the Bears credit for that. I give the referees for saying, you know what? I'm being a stickler for the rules. Cool, if that's what you want to call it. But don't say that that was a scoring opportunity that the Bears stopped, because they didn't. The 12 men on the field, dude was in the backfield. Like, where normally that's a free play. I don't know where they come up with this. Oh, well, he went off the field. He came back on the field. The reason the dude jumped and false started was because the man was in the backfield coming towards him. I'd false start too. And then the touchdown by Ertz, Joe Tessitore himself said he came down with the ball. The refs missed that call, and then and they will be admonished come Tuesday for that. So that's 3.
I was a little surprised with that reverse touchdown with Ertz. I thought that was enough establishment, and he was down by contact. His knee was already down. I was a little surprised we were watching with Chef. They were insistent, no, that wasn't a completion. You know what that reminded me of? That reminded me of the Calvin Johnson play with the Lions.
Even
where Tillman
it was given
caught the ball. It kind of gave me those vibes where Calvin had the ball, had 2 feet down. At that point, the play's supposed to be dead because but whatever. I mean, as a Bears fan, it worked up for us. I'm not gonna fucking kick too much dirt for us, but that play with Ertz kind of gave me feelings of that.
But that's where I say there's a difference between being a realistic fan and a fanatic, because that play, yes, it worked in our favor, but that was one of those things like, whoo, the referees bailed us out. Not the Bears defense made a stop. I don't like moral victories. I don't like participation trophies. And this game was a lot of the refs bailing us out. You put those 3, you put 1 or 2 of those 3 touchdowns plus the missed field goal, they blew us out. They blew us out.
That was nothing. JB, that was, like you said, that participation trophy. Absolutely not, man. What we saw today, like you said, there was nothing good. There was nothing good about it. I'm saying, you said 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns. That's your 21 points. That's your 21 points that the Bears have been holding teams to. So they surpassed that. Washington would have surpassed that. You know what I'm saying? It's just bad, man. It's just bad. I'm just saying, I'm talking about fundamentals. I'm not talking about the fan, being a fan. I'm talking about being like a student of the game and just watching the fundamentals. You know what I'm saying? Watching the fundamentals.
They're not disciplined. I saw too many false
that
starts, illegal
that part.
I saw too many illegal motions. Like, what are we doing? And then this is the part where I said I got to get on the Caleb Tramp Stamper. Shout out to Foul. He played horribly. He didn't get good until like the last 2 series of the second half. That 56-yard run by Swift had nothing to do with Caleb Williams. Caleb was off target. He was erratic. He was nervous. I think they only credited Washington for like 2 or 3 sacks, but we know he got hit a lot more than that because he may have gotten 1 yard past the line of scrimmage or whatever. He was under duress. He looked terrible. And this is what I was
guessing. He was double clutching himself a lot.
But because he's hunting the big play again.
That's what I was about to say. He wasn't even making his reads. He wasn't. It was hike the ball and just let it go. I'm like, and the one to a zoom, no, I'm sorry, not a zoom, Keenan Allen, hike, overthrows, overshoots Keenan Allen, like wide open, like where I said it's because he was playing in front of his home field, man, in front of his
He
friends and
was
family, man.
nervous. He was
He
nervous,
had,
and
he
that's all it was.
absolutely,
Mr. Chicago, and I can't wait till the Tuesday show because Kirk,
He
you was
was
there.
hot. He was adamant. He was adamant that we're gonna win this fucking game.
So
There's
was
no
Keith
doubt
Sperry,
about it.
38-10. Won't forget.
No doubt about it. We're gonna win this fucking game.
And he was very quiet in our chat. And I told him, I said, pump your brakes because Caleb looked real, real good. And so did our defense when we played against the Little Sisters of the Poor in Jacksonville and the Panthers. Now when we played against a Commanders team that was not only not as good as we thought they were better than they thought we were. I mean, than we thought they were. They were hungry and they were disciplined. They were coming after it. We hadn't seen nothing like that. We hadn't seen nothing like Jaden. So to sit up there and put this team on a pedestal, and that's why I told y'all last year where we finished in the top 5 because we played four of our last 5 teams we played at the end of last year were not offensively inclined. We're just having bad years. That promotes us as being better than what we really were. But you see what happens when we played against some real boys. Some real boys.
We haven't seen anything yet, JB.
I mean, we ain't played a division.
We haven't seen anything. That's my point.
Detroit put up 52 points and Jared Goff threw for 85 yards.
52 points.
Come on, man.
Come on.
We're not ready. And I'm telling you, next week, I'm not so sure we can beat Arizona because I saw what Kyler and Marvin did today.
I was just about to say, Kyler Murray, if Jalen Daniels with ribs did what he did today against the Bears defense, imagine Kyler Murray. A healthy Kyler Murray. Scrambling.
We need Kyler Gordon and Jaquan Brisker back immediately.
Both of them immediately. Both of them. Because Stevenson, Blackwell.
I mean, they played okay, but
they don't play in that box like that though. They don't play in that box and come up and make that hit. They don't want to make that hit.
Even if you play the scenario of how it played out today, we cannot continue to count on the referees to make certain calls. We cannot continue to count on drop passes from receivers, wide open passes at that. We cannot continue to count on field goal kickers missing their first field goal of the year. Not block, not touch, not tip, not nothing. Just a straight miss. We can't continue to hang our hats on that. And I hate when our fan base does that. A receiver will drop a wide open touchdown and they'll be like, oh, the Bears defense did so great. No, he didn't. He dropped the ball. He had nothing to do with it. And we need to stop that. Because
it was horrible.
It was horrible. It happens every year. We're going to put ourselves in the position to think we're better than what they are. And when we look at what's going on, you know who's better? Green Bay. You know who's better?
Yep.
Minnesota.
You know who's better?
Detroit.
Definitely Detroit.
If we can get over those 3 teams, all this other shit
6 games.
does not matter. It doesn't matter.
6 games.
At this point, 7, looking at them as a splitting with them seems like a miracle at this point. Splitting with
who?
Ain't no splitting with who? Ain't no
splitting with who?
Everybody in their division at this point, looking at that, thinking that we could still win 1 game against them.
The only reason I say we have a chance against the Packers
we might get. I was about to say we might get
this plan. That's the only reason I say we have a chance against the Packers.
It'll be interesting to see how bad Jordan Love is hurt too. He got hurt again.
I was just about to say Jordan Love. Love has.
Although Willis has been decent enough, he's been winning games. Even the games that Love has been out, Willis has been substantial.
He has a groin. Jordan Love has a groin. He has a groin. So we play them
in 3 weeks.
In 3 weeks, yeah. He has a groin. He has a full groin. So
he'll be back.
That may be one. That maybe. You know, it's like spades, JB. You know what I'm saying?
I got a possible.
Yeah. A
There's not too many
five
more
and a
possibles left
possible
on
one.
that.
And a possible one. Yeah. Just
Well,
like spades, man. Like,
there's
no.
yeah, there's no guarantee. There's
Nope.
no more guaranteed books left on this schedule. I don't
Yeah,
think. Let's see what
nah.
we got. Washington.
Nah,
So we got
hey.
Well, I'll say,
Yeah,
Patriots. I don't even
we'll,
think it's a guaranteed book.
I still say we
You can
should
put-
win against the Patriots. Like, even though the Patriots beat the Jets today, who's got a comparable defense, I don't know what's going on. Like, Drake May did well.
Sharon is what's going on. That's what's going on. She's done. She's done, JB. She's done. It's Sharon.
But I'm concerned. Like I told you, the 4-2, it looks good, but you have to take into consideration what the reality of what's going on is. And we saw
4-3.
We saw today
4-3.
what it looks like when we play against a superior team.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you now, as much as this pains me, we better hope Braxton Jones ain't hurt. Because all I thought was Braxton Jones came in and switched numbers. They looked exactly the same.
Yeah. Kareem, he looked like a rookie if I've ever seen a fucking rookie.
He needs some reps.
Number 72 looked like goddamn Jay Leno out there.
I mean, the kid I was about to say is a rookie. He's a rookie, man. Out there, left tackle.
That's part of the fucking issue with Flus drafting his ass in that round. Why did you get a guy that was hurt and still coming off? Why didn't you just draft a guy that was ready to go and hit the fucking camp, ready to go, instead of
right there,
getting a guy that wasn't ready until fucking training camp or week 1 at that?
But see, nobody wants to knock Poles. Everybody wants to give Poles his flowers. I said it me and you was talking last year. You see, they finally got rid of Velvet Jones a year too late.
What? A year too late. Come on, man. Come on. Sit up. And then you draft the left tackle that's hurt. Come on, man. Sit up. And then and check that. That's who. What was crazy about it is that that's who they interviewed on Fox. Right. They interviewed the kid. Interviewed the kid. I'm like, why are you interviewing him? He had a horrible game. Check it up. And here's the kicker. That's coaching or lack thereof. They're not coaching this kid up. They're not coaching them up. You know what I'm saying? It was obvious. It was obvious.
You remember when I asked Mr. Chicago and I asked you guys, how much are you worried about maybe Cliff Kingsbury kind of knowing Caleb's tendencies from coaching him?
Yes.
Coaching him, knowing, telling the defense, hey, this is what the kid likes to do. This is what the kid doesn't like to do. And Mr. Chicago was like, hell no, I ain't worried about that shit. Fuck no, I ain't worried about that. And I brought that up because I was worried about that shit.
And so was I, and we spoke about it, and we got laughed at on Tuesday. But guess what? Not to say it wasn't warranted, but we're going to bring that shit right back up on Tuesday because guess what? Some of us actually do know shit. And we said exactly what it was. And Caleb looked like, damn, there's nothing that I can do to counter what they're doing. And the only reason, and I always say this, Amp, I know you can agree with me from playing football back in the day. When you go into a prevent defense, it makes quarterbacks look better than what they really are because now you're just trying to preserve a win.
That's it. If
they had kept the pressure on Caleb, they wouldn't have scored. They wouldn't have scored
at all. Nope. They wouldn't have scored at all. You know what I'm saying? That right there, it was just, I'm tired of it, man. I'm just tired.
But so can I ask you all this question, both of you guys? Do you feel now coming off the bye, which we were trying to get some people healthy, right? But at 4-3, knowing what happened in the division, Vikings lost, but it doesn't really hurt because of who they lost to. Packers won, Detroit won. Do you feel that we just, with this particular game being a must-win, so to speak, do you all feel that any coaching change, I'm not even talking about Eberflus, but just any kind of philosophies, any changes need to be made? Because you know what we got coming up once we start hitting the thing. We got Green Bay, who just always have our numbers. We have a different Detroit that we've never seen before. And then we got somebody that blitzes 56% of the time. Are we ready?
I'll answer that, JB. I don't think they have the ability to change. I don't think they have the ability to change. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about this coaching staff, our coaching staff. They don't have the ability to change. We've seen it before. We seen it last year. You know what I'm saying? Besides Waldron, that's the only difference. That's the only difference. And but pretty much it's the same thing.
I was about
It's
to
the
say
same
they
thing.
two sides of the same coin, right? Because I remember Getsy having a problem scoring in the first quarter. The first 10 to 15 plays that are scripted are trash, straight garbage.
It's trash. I'm talking about when number 18 handed the ball off on the very first place. I said, "Oh my goodness, here we go again."
And can we stop
it was the first play.
between the numbers so much? Like, what are we doing?
JB, I've been saying that, man,
all season.
I've been saying that. I'm like,
they're insisting on running twist up the numbers.
Why? To justify that that 8 million, 2 years, 8 mil. To justify that, no, man, no. If trying to run him down at the 2-yard line from the shotgun position, no, he's not a downhill runner, no. So to answer your question, JB, no, I don't think they have the ability. I don't think they have the knowledge. I don't think they have the knowledge. And this is from playing the game. This is from playing the game, watching the game. You know what I'm saying? You know it, JB. You know they don't. I mean, at halftime, just look at the halftime coming back out at halftime. It was the same. I don't know. And watching number 18 on the sideline, right? Nobody's sitting with him. He's not in his iPad. You know, he's having a horrible game. And nobody is trying to tell this kid like, hey, coach him up, because you can come out of this.
I wanted to bring that up, but I was gonna save it. But we can revisit it on Tuesday. I said the same thing, but it was almost like they were afraid to talk to him, and that in itself is a problem. If he's like, "Don't talk to me, I got this. Don't talk to me." If he's that prima donna,
I know everything there is to know.
Prima donna. Let's hope not, JB. Let's hope not. Let's hope that's not him.
That's what it's given, though. That's what it's given.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. That's definitely what it looked like. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, why is anybody?
Vibes, though. That's Jay Cutler vibes, where Jay Cutler didn't.
Now, but Cutler had that nasty.
I don't need to see no video on the sideline.
He had that nasty. But you know, this is what I told my brother. This is what I told my older brother. I said, check this out, bro. I said, the Chicago media, I said, if number 18 continues to play like he's playing, I said, the Chicago media is going to eat him up, because the national media is going to get a hold to him. And then the Chicago media, they already, I've been listening to them. They're already starting to chop him up. I'm talking about the kid. Right. And so what's going to happen, JB, is the real Caleb Williams is going to come out, and he's going to start saying some things. And you know the Chicago fan base, man. It's like, shut up and play.
That's it.
Shut up and get us a win.
Do better.
Shut up and win us a game. Don't talk anymore. Just win. And then from that point on, we already know what's going to happen. But I said it a couple of weeks ago. I believe in this kid, though, man. This kid has something, but it's those coaches.
He's got something. He's got something physically, but he also got something detached mentally. Like, he reminds me, I always go back to that movie, The Replacements, where when the starting quarterback came back and made a misread, he was like, "Why did you throw the ball away?" "Oh, that's just how I play." He gives me that. And you see it. Yeah. Because there were times, even with the pressure today, there were times when Cole Kmet should have had about 15 targets. Like, real talk. How, JB? When he wasn't even on the field. He wasn't even on the field a quarter of the time. How did he get 15 touches? You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad you mentioned that. Because I'm thinking, like, where's our starting tight end, man? Where's that? And when I saw him on the sideline, that's when I thought about it. I'm like, he ain't went to Cole Kmet not once. You know what I'm saying? That was in the third quarter. No targets in the first half. None.
Yeah. Oh man.
None.
Oh man. So I don't think, honestly, this coaching staff has the ability or the knowledge to change things up, Because if we just look back on these 7 games, they've been out coached for 7 games. They've been out coached.
I'll say 4 of them because remember the one game. I mean, it's kind of hard
the
to
Panthers
say.
game. The Panthers game doesn't count.
Right,
that doesn't count. That doesn't count. Yeah.
But they were definitely out coached the Titans game. He just took his foot off the gas for whatever reason. You saw what happened in Indy. That coach said, "I'm gonna change some things up because Anthony Richardson is just terrible. He's god awful." And I will say this: the same way we say, "Oh, we would have looked better if we had Brisker and Gordon." Well, we have to say the Rams would have looked better if they had Cooper and Nakua. They 1 and 2 best weapons too. Like
it'd have been different. Yeah.
Like come on, we gotta stay on reality. I don't live on fantasy. I don't.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree with you, JB. Yeah, but that's all I got, man. I just had to get that off my chest, man. I'm so like no. Especially watching a kid sitting on that bench playing a horrible game, and not one coach is in his ear, not one player. You're seeing DJ Moore upset, you're seeing Keenan Allen upset, but nobody's going to the QB and saying, "Hey, look, kid, we can do this. Catch. I'm on, on the sluggo. Hit me on the sluggo. I can get this guy. You saw none of that. And so if we didn't see it today, is it being done?
Well,
is it being done?
I can only say, because the one thing I will say, they gave a lot of autonomy to Caleb because he caught a lot of passes from the line. I mean, a lot of plays from the line.
Yeah, he was checking a lot. Yeah,
he was checking a lot. But that also goes back because, do I really want my rookie quarterback checking into some of these plays? Or do I want me calling the plays and checking to this or checking to that? Because, again, if you knew that the pressure was coming the way, hey, Jazon Newton and Deron Payne, they had a mission. They was coming.
Yeah, they was coming.
And number 4, Luvu, they was coming. And there was nothing Caleb could do about it. But, again, where's the chip?
They got to him fast and early.
Where's the 2 tight ends? You know what I'm saying? Where's the things that should combat that type of defensive pressure? And Dan Quinn is a hell of a defensive coordinator.
That's what he does. They always have been. Always have been. So again,
if I'm not mistaken, Quinn likes to blitz a lot in his defense. So I mean,
he didn't blitz a lot though.
That wasn't blitzing. Not today.
He didn't blitz.
That wasn't blitzing. Not like.
And I want to just give a shout out to their secondary because their secondary, for the most part, were locking our guys up. Like there were times just nobody was open, and then Caleb missed.
Well, that's why Caleb was double clutching. Yeah,
that was double clutching thing. Like who?
You're not scheming them open. Where's the quick slant? Where's the rub route?
Man,
for having 2 weeks to prepare for this game, I think they're saying somebody else was saying, "Hey, we look flat coming out off our bye weeks," and we again.
I said that, man. I said that in the pregame show.
We was 1 and 2. I was reading what you said. You said 1 and 2.
I said that, man. That's coaching, man. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable, man.
Here's my fear.
Let's give our final thoughts. We're coming up to an hour, so let's just give our final thoughts here on what's going on here.
Okay, here's my final thought because I got to get the kid ready for bed. Say good night, Jordan.
Night, Jordan.
Good night.
My final thought is this: we just got exposed to what it looked like to play a superior team. If we do not get this in order. Now, I'm never going to say a superior team, a better team, because the superior teams are coming, and we're not ready. Yeah. We're not.
So my thought is this. I'm going to piggyback off of JB. My thought is this. It's about the rain. It's about the rain, baby. It's about the rain. And I'm not talking dollar bills. It's about the rain because this coaching staff does not have the ability to change anything. The same thing we saw today is what we're going to see next week. And if we know that, as just regular fans, you know what I'm saying? If we know that,
definitely know
guess who else knows that? They definitely know what's coming. So that's my final thought on that. Commish.
Yeah,
We lost.
this game was definitely a major disappointment for sure. It was.
Even if we won,
I
it
was
was
just
a
expecting the
disappointment.
offense.
It would.
No,
It would've.
yeah, and that's
It
a good
would.
point. I was just about to say that too. Like, even if we would have came back and won this game, and our defense would have held up, they didn't get that Hail Mary, and we won that game for whatever that final score would have been by 2 points or 3 points or whatever. It would have been an ugly ass win. It would have been nothing to feel too good about. We would have came into Tuesday's show being like, "Yo, guys, it was a good win. It was a good scrappy win. We hung in it, and we kind of fought to the end and kind of got down and dirty and stole that game." But it would have been nothing. It would have been the feel goods that we felt about coming out of the Jacksonville game.
And that's the sad part. And that's the sad part right there, Commish. If we had won that game, what the coaching staff would have did for next week? How would they have prepared the team for the Cardinals? How would they have prepared this team after winning? If they had won that game last night, how would they have prepared for the Cardinals?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a thing too where we also needed this win to kind of keep up with the Joneses, because everybody.
That part.
No, they're gone. We can. Jones is gone out of town. We can forget that, baby. That's over.
Yeah,
that's over, man. That's over.
We can rent from their asses or something like that. But
that's over. Real talk. That's over. That's over. We're at this point in the schedule. We're supposed to be 6-1. 6-1 at this point in the schedule. With this schedule, we're at minimum 6-1. 6-1.
Well, that was definitely a bucket of cold water splashed right in our face here. So that I felt like we had this happen to us.
Wow. That's what that was. Yep.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was.
Our offense was feeling really good, and Washington just came up and said, "Who the fuck you think you is?"
That was a what kind of kicking they say in the neighborhood? I don't curse. What was that? That was a down home kicking.
Kicking the balls. What?
Ass kicking.
Hey, that's what that was, JB. That's what that was. Yep. I don't use that word, but thank you, JB. Thank you.
See how I got you back.
Real talk.
That's what we do in Chi-Town. We get each other's back.
Yeah.
With that being said, guys, let's go ahead and call it a night here. We got about an hour into it, giving us our thoughts. Thank you,
all right,
everybody that tuned into the chat, Keith and whatnot, and a lot more other here that came into the comments. Janet, thank you for joining in. And like I said, JB, Keith, JB, you were in there earlier. And like I said, Alonzo, thank you all for tuning in. And last minute fucking stream here with unfortunately a Bears loss. T Nick and Foulmouth, Foulmouth definitely will have something to say about this goddamn game and how ugly it was. So tune in on Tuesday nights to hear what they have to say about this Bears game. The fantasy players out there, tune in on tomorrow night with the Quick Commish, talk about some fantasy football. We also have some Bull Spit. The Bulls season just kicked off. So we have Bull Spit on Thursday night. And then if nothing else, we have Bears Talk on the pregame show. Like I said, once again, the pregame show will come on at early mornings, like 8 in the morning here, or, the early morning games, because the Commission, a few others are going to be tailgating at the Cardinals games that they're playing in my hometown. So before I send it off, Amp, JB, is there any last minute words you want to say?
First of all, always like, share, subscribe. And most importantly, we appreciate you guys. And besides that, as always, bear down.
Do better. That's it. Do better.
You got to decide whether you're a wolf or a sheep.
Wolf. I wish.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.